Hi everyone, I'm Sarina Fazan, and thank you so much for joining us. Boy, do we have a special on the record today. I cannot believe this. Coming in from LA, DJ Ravidrums himself.
Woo, I'm here.
So excited you're here, Ravi.
I'm with Sarina.
Oh my gosh, see, ooh, can you do that again? Damn, even on the table.
Even on the table.
You got the beat.
I should. At this point, let's hope so. It'd be terrible if I didn't.
Okay, let's talk about you first, and let's talk.
Definitely, let's talk about me.
Let's talk about you first.
All about me.
Yeah.
How do I look first?
Yeah, you look great. He had to go and get his hair all fixed, by the way.
It's a production, this thing, you know.
I love it. All right, so clearly you're a DJ. Give us that background first.
So I'm a drummer, DJ, and I'm like the original guy that started drumming and DJing together first, or at least I claim that. I claim that in front of everyone.
And drummer, I mean, seriously, very, very huge. I shouldn't have just said DJ because, I mean, you're drums.
No.
Okay,
I drum and DJ, so I created this thing called live remixing, and lots of magazines. I started it.
Ooh, that's like, yeah, modesty aside, dude, come on. Tell us.
I'm telling you. Okay. So I DJ and drum live, and I created this this contraption called the Dream Screen. It's a transparent touch controller that I developed with NASA scientists.
Okay, so, NASA scientists.
Yes, real NASA scientists. That is my good Indian part. I've been a bad Indian with crazy hair my whole life. Do something good. Don't do idiot all the time, jumping around. Monkey boy. Anyway. That's my mom, and she really thinks I'm monkey boy that jumps around and does nothing. Kidding. So I developed this transparent touch controller for Paula Abdul's TV show, Live to Dance. So I was her musical director on CBS, and it's a crazy story.
Okay, wait. On CBS during that whole... Oh, no, that's a different story. Never mind. Yeah, I'm getting off confused.
What story was that?
I'm thinking the Janet Jackson, right? Well, no, I'm getting off track. But anyway, Paula Abdul, CBS. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so... I was flying down to Brazil, and I was doing a show there, and I watched Minority Report, and we had the greatest designer on the planet. I mean, he'd done Pink Floyd since 1976, and he is the leader of everything, all the technology, and all the everything that happens in shows now is directly related because of him. And we just had a production meeting the day before, and I'm like... You're the production manager for Pink Floyd? I was like floored. I was like completely awestruck. The president of CBS was there. I could care less. I was so into Mark. And
how old were you at this time? Was this like out of college? I mean,
pretty
young?
No, it's like 10 years ago.
Like 10 years ago. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So I was old then. Now I'm just even older.
Now, you and me both.
Now I'm 1 foot in the grave. So at that point, and guy can do anything. And Paul was like, we're going to make you like a satellite stage, and we'll go this and that. We're going to do all these crazy, wild things. And, he's got all this technology and LED floors and all this stuff before anybody else had it. And I watched Minority Report, and then I landed. I text Paul, I'm like, we should have Mark create a transparent touch controller or something, a big glass screen that I DJ on. Let's, even if we're not doing it for real, let's do it. And so then I go, and I'm staying at Copacabana Palace, right on Copacabana Beach. I'm like, this is great. I want to drink some beers and go look at beautiful Brazilian models on the beach and just enjoy it. And then Paula keeps texting me. And I'm like, man, it's like $8 a minute. I didn't have a long distance plan. I'm like, this is expensive for me. I mean, I can afford it now. But then I'm like, oh, man, this is going to be like a $32 call if I cut it off in 4 minutes.
Right.
And then she calls me like 20 times. And I'm like, man, I go, it's $8 a minute to call you. And she's like, I'll pay for the call. Just call me. I'm like, okay, fine. She's like, Ravi, they love it. I'm like, who loves what? She goes, I was with the president of CBS last night for 2.5 hours in his office, and they love the screen and the whole thing you're going to do. I said, well, that's great. I said, that's just an idea. Can Mark make this? She goes, no, you told me you made it. I said, I didn't say I made it. I said, we should make this. We should have Mark make this. No, you told me you made it. I'm like, I did not say I made this. I'm on a plane. Like, I just landed at the beach. I'm trying to drink a beer and go to the beach. I didn't make anything. Well, you're going to get fired from the best gig you never had, and everyone in the city is going to know. I'm like, wow, man, I'm trying to go to the beach here. Like, and she's the nicest, sweetest, kindest woman, but I stressed her out in that moment. She's like, I sold you for 2.5 hours in the president of CBS's office.
So what did you do? I mean, did you even have the money to make the screen?
No, she goes, dude, you better make it happen. And that was it.
So what did you do?
I made it happen.
Okay, how did you get the money, and how did it,
I was the musical director for Howie Mandel's TV show, so fortunately I had a little bit of money at this time. It all went away with the invention of this stupid screen. No, it wasn't stupid.
No, the screen is amazing. It's pretty amazing. It is so cool.
Yeah, and so, you know, I was just like, oh my gosh, there has to be people using touch controllers and projection, and there has to be a way to image map onto this. And so then I just started looking it up, and there was all these manufacturers in Europe that were doing displays and all this. I'm like, we could take a display and create a whole new thing, and this, that, the other. So then after that, I had another gig in Norway, in Stavanger, Norway. And I met this guy, Bjorn, and he took us out drinking after the gig, and there was this whole thing. But then I landed, I found these guys that were doing something similar. And I found them online, and it was like the future of DJing and this whole thing. I'm like, that's it. So I contacted them, spending $8 a minute calling nonstop.
$8 a minute.
$8 a minute. It was killing it from Rio, and and I didn't have it. So I called them, and I get them on board, and I call Paul. I'm like, okay, I found these guys are manufacturing it. So then we have CBS write letters to get their visas, right? And so I'm like, this is going to be epic. I'll be a billionaire, you know, in the next 2 years. This is going to be on TV. I got an exit strategy. I'm like, dude, I'm Tony Robbins, right? And I'm like, Tony Robbins this. And so then I get it all going, and they're writing letters, official letters to the U.S. government, applying for their visas and all that. And then I go to Norway, and then I fly back, and it's a long flight. I have like a 10-hour layover in Frankfurt or something. And I land, and my wife picks me up, and she's like, hey, did you get your emails? I'm like, no, I'll check them later. Let's just eat, and you know, we're at the Grove, and we're going to our favorite little Greek spot. And she's like, you should check. You didn't check your emails? I'm like, no, I just landed an hour ago. What is everybody hitting me all the time for? Just leave me alone.
Like, I want a break. Give me a break.
I'm trying to have a beer over there, trying to have a shot of who's over here. Like, nobody's letting me drink. And then she's like, you should really check your emails. I'm like, wow. I haven't seen you in 2 weeks, and you know, the kids are like, I'll keep the kid here. You go check your emails. So Bjorn, the guy that was going to make the screens for me, sorry, that's later in the story. The guy say, hey, we can't do it. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do it? And they're in Chile. And I call them, I'm like, in Chile. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do it? I just had, you know, the people that produce American Idol write letters to get you over here. We're going to put this on TV.
I'm having heart palpitations right now just thinking about it.
Yeah, and I just landed after like a flight from Norway with the 10-hour layover in Frankfurt. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, we can't do it. We just signed an NDA. And this, I'm like, I've been processing this. I was just on a flight for 12 hours. Like, what the, how could everything change? Well, they sent us money and we can't do it now. I'm like, oh my God. So I come back defeated. And my wife's got a couple shots for me. She's like, I know you're going to need these. And she goes, oh, you'll figure it out. And so then I just Google every place that's manufacturing any of this stuff. And I reach a guy named Bjorn, he's one of the 30 calls, and I just partied with Bjorn, some other Bjorn. I guess half the people in Norway are Bjorn, right?
Bjorn.
or Ragnarok or whatever, Ragnar. You know, everybody in Vikings, one of those Viking names. Anyway, so this, I call all these people, 911, email everybody, a giant opportunity. Yeah, producers of American Idol, blah, 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 the whole bit. And so a guy calls me at, like, I remember it's 5:42 in the morning. Cause my phone up, and I remember this. He goes, hey, it's Bjorn. I'm like, oh, Bjorn, thank you. That was great, taking us out to drinks. But it's 44 in the morning. I'm exhausted. Can I call you in a day or two? He goes, no. You called about a TV show, 911. You have a screen and all this other stuff. I'm like, hold on, who is this? He goes, yes, you emailed me. I'm like, I'm sorry, give me a second. Stay on the phone. So I went and made a double espresso. And I'm like, okay, let's get into this. And so lo and behold, this was like a Thursday or Wednesday or something like that. And he's like, we're developing screens like that. I got 2 ex-NASA scientists, and we have a shop in Houston, Texas. Are you going to Texas anytime soon? I'm like, oh my God. I'm going to Houston for the first time in 10 years on Tuesday.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, no, wait, no way. Like
the universe
was coming together. You know, I totally believe in all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh my. Okay. So then what happens?
I'm like, you're kidding me. He goes, no, we have a showroom. We can do this. These guys are masters at touch and this, that, the other. So I call them and my buddy Don Kerr, and then I go there and they show me how they can do it, and I scratch it out on a napkin, and we start developing it together. And we started a company for a moment called Dream Screen Labs, where we started developing my dream screen. And then we did the TV show, and now I've been using this dream screen. There it is, right there.
Oh my gosh!
For the last decades.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask, because we're gonna. Did you always have the hair?
No.
like when did the hair come about?
I've always had cool hair.
You've always had cool hair.
But,
I'm not saying that you haven't had cool hair.
No, I always wanted a mohawk, and then I think my wife was like, man, just get it. You always wanted one, just do it. Why on the fence? So then I had a faux hawk for a minute. I'm like, dude, this is so halfway in the middle of the road. Nobody likes anybody in the middle of the road. Come in, go all the way in, or no, go home. You know. So then I got a mohawk, and then that was it.
Well, because it's kind of
that's part of my trademark.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I wanted to say that it's part of your trademark.
I'm like Slash in the Hat, just like way poorer.
No, you're not at all. So I'm really excited. We're not there yet, but the second half of the show, what's happening? Because you're releasing.
I have an exciting new record called Love Is the Answer. It's coming out on Friday, October 8th. And if you're in LA, we're doing a big party at the Doheny Room, which is like one of the hottest spots on the planet, you know, right there on Sunset, and impossible to get in, and you know, the whole bit. Super LA fabulous.
Oh yes, oh yes.
And I'll be in the middle of the fabulosity.
And trust me, I have been at some of your parties, and they are a blast.
They're fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's raging, and it's a lot of fun. You're celebrating music, and you know, it is the great connector. So I got this record. I did it with my friend Steve the Wreck, and we got this beautiful lyric video. I think we're going to play for you guys in a second. But it's all about, you know, love is the answer, right? There's so much hate in the world, and the great thing about music is it unites and brings all of the world together. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, green, or how you identify, whatever it is you're doing, whatever lane you're in. Great music resonates with everybody, you know, and it can change everything. And if you think of through the history of time, right, the peak of every celebration was, you know, brought together, glued together, unified together with music. Whether it was at a church, at a Baptist church, or whether it was singing happy birthday to a kid, or whether it was, you know, playing a great song at a wedding, or whatever, like or the graduation, or a president walking on stage, whatever it is, you know, like, or, you know, a great military leader, or whatever, even the Dalai Lama with their chants. So, like, I think music is the glue. And, you know, one of the commonalities that bring all of humanity together. So.
Well, absolutely. And you are talking to the girl, right, who's in love with love, as you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I am so in love with love. Well, let's go to a break. And then when we come back we love love.
So you love squared?
Oh my gosh, I've set up 8 couples that have gotten married. In fact,
you set up 8 couples that have gotten married?
In fact, there could be 9.
Really?
They just showed me
So you're an Indian matchmaker?
I am. I am, and I love that accent. All right, we're going to come right back, and we're going to play Robbie's new song.
And you can spin the dial, and if you call in the right callers, she'll set you up, and you can get married.
There you go. That's fantastic. All right, we'll be right back. I'm Sarina Fazan, a journalist, producer, and podcast host. With a background in television news, I know how much time and talent it takes to produce a broadcast quality production. But no more. Red House Streaming offers a simple, cost-effective method for capturing live action and streaming it in real time to YouTube, Facebook, or any other website. From single camera shoots or multi-camera productions, conventional or virtual sets. And from the state-of-the-art Red House Streaming Studios to remote locations, the professional crew at Red House Streaming, backed by the technology and reputation of CP Communications, allows you to produce more content at a lower cost and with little to no engineering required. That's why my podcast, On the Record with Sarina Fazan, is streamed live from the Red House Streaming Studios each week. Contact Red House Streaming today at 800-762-4254 or online at cpcoms.com to learn more. I'll see you in the studio. Okay, we're having way too much fun.
Yes,
I'm here with,
as we should.
Oh, yeah, always, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what life's about?
Yes.
Yes, I'm here with DJ Ravidrums. Of course, I'm here with DJ Ravidrums, who has I'm so excited because you're releasing, this is breaking news.
Breaking news.
This is breaking news. Do your thing again with the breaking news. You're releasing your new song on my show.
Yeah.
And the name of the song again.
Love is the answer.
Love is the answer. All right, so let's play Love is the Answer.
Let's play it. We got the lyric video. Roll it.
Ravi, you are amazing.
Thank you.
I love all the energy. Okay, so tell us about the song. So it's Steve the Wreck that actually sings it, but you wrote the lyrics.
I wrote the lyrics and produced the track. He and I did it together. You know, he's an incredible talent, keyboard player, singer. and we just put it together.
Well, what is your favorite part? I mean, do you love to write and then create the music bed? Or what do you think?
Just all of it. You know, like, I mean, I'm addicted to creation. Creation is salvation, right? So just creating anything, you know, the whole creative process to me, every bit of it, whether you're like building a garden in your backyard or you're, you know, renovating. I just renovated a house, so that's why I'm talking about that. But just writing songs or producing songs is really, really, really incredible. I just did a thing for the men's World Cup U.S. soccer team. I did the sound design on it. That was really, really fun.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah. And I'm pitching a song to the Bucks. We'll see what happens with that.
Yes.
Hopefully, went to Cuba, and I have a travel series called Off the Beaten Track. So we went to Cuba, went to India, went to Galapagos, and maybe we'll go to Beer Can Island. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But just creating. You know?
Well, speaking of Off the Beaten Track, I want to stop just for a minute because we want to show a little bit of the clip, at least, for Off the Beaten Track. It's so amazingly produced as well. It's so fun.
Thank you. Yeah. So I direct and produce and whatever. Whatever's necessary is what I do. I develop technology, you know. What do you mean? I got it. I could cut my own hair maybe, I don't know.
There we go. Well, we're going to pause just for a minute so we can watch that.
Hi, I'm Ravidrums, a musician, DJ, and technologist. I pioneered the live remix and developed technology with NASA scientists. I've been fortunate in my career to travel the globe and perform on some of the biggest stages on Earth. But really, I'm a collector. Some people collect action figures, posters, and comic books. I collect and generate once-in-a-lifetime experiences around the globe. We're going to grab local influencers, disruptors, creators, musicians, chefs, artists, poets, anyone pushing humanity forward. Every street corner, performance space, art studio, and restaurant has unique traditions and stories told through the music and food. And we're here to collect and celebrate every last one of them. Let's go. Whether we're at Diddy's Coachella Bash jamming with Post Malone, a basketball court in the slums of Havana, having the greatest roast pork in the jungles of Cuba, Hang Like Us at the Palace in India, or champagne with the Prince and Princess at the Monaco Grand Prix. Let's do this! Wherever you are. Music, food, and technology are the three great connectors that unite all of humanity. The flavors and rhythms are as complex and interesting as the stories that naturally unfold. And we're there to celebrate every last bit of it. Experience exotic cultures, locations, innovations, food, music, and art. In this time of division, we need to come together more than ever and push humanity forward. It's our cultural uniqueness that makes us so special. Join us as where the ancient and the future collide. This is Off the Beaten Track.
Robbie, that video also amazing, and I love the concept of everything off the beaten track. How do you choose the places you go to?
Well, you know, it's someplace that I want to be really connected to, or someplace I'm really, really interested in. So, Gumbi Ortiz, who, you know, was my partner in this, on that episode, he was the main featured guest, if you will. And, you know, me and him wrote all these songs together. So, Gumbi was, you know, he's from here, from Tampa. If you're in Tampa, then you probably know Gumbi, one of the greatest congueros on the planet. I mean, played with everyone you could ever imagine. And he's like always been my musical mentor. And so I played a lot of Cuban music when I lived here in Tampa with him. It was kind of this voodoo hip hop thing. It was like Cuban Latin jazz, but then this hip hop rock element. It was really wild. It was like a jam band before they really hit. If we could have gotten organized, who knows? But so a friend of mine posted on Facebook, she just went to Cuba. I'm like, how did you go to Cuba? Nobody can go there. She goes, yeah, you can. And flights are super cheap right now. I'm like, no way. She told me how cheap the flights were. I'm like, that's it, I'm going. And I want to go shoot because I had this song called Cuba, Cuba Freedom, and it was awesome. Me and Gumbi did it. And I wanted to go there and find some other elements, some rappers, get some real flavors from there, and then document it. And we ended up going down there, and we hooked up with Carlito Iraragorri, who is Celia Cruz's musical director. And Gumi's like, man, I got the cat. I got the guy. I just did his son's record and this, that, the other, and he's the guy down there. And we'll go to Trinidad, Cuba. I'm like, I've never even heard of Trinidad, Cuba. So where Havana is, right, if Cuba's like this, here's Havana, there's Santiago, Trinidad is down here in the southern part, and it's this old folkloric area. So the old area, it was actually founded in 1545, and it still functions at the roads of these cobblestone streets. So it's like you're traveling in time, and it's so historical, and the sounds are a little bit sweeter and more folkloric, they're more melodic, and they all play the tres there, which is like a Cuban guitar, and it's just magical, right? When you imagine like going back in time to an ancient Cuba, that would be it. It's not Havana, but Havana was incredible because we met up with Horacio Hernandez, multi-Grammy winner, one of the greatest drummers in the world, and we saw, God, the greatest rumba band on the planet. I'm at a loss for their name right now. Asian Des Moines.
Oh, I think I'm
saying it incorrectly.
But you know, it sounds good, so it's okay.
And we played everything from like on a basketball court, which felt like a 1970s hip hop video, you know, like when the hip hop battles were all happening on basketball courts in the Bronx and Harlem. It felt like that, and then we're playing there in this beautiful fairy tale area of Trinidad. And then I took those tracks, and this is the wild thing. We ended up just wanting to get one. We ended up doing a whole EP because the inspiration was so thick. And Carlito he's the king of Trinidad, and he got all the best musicians there. And we rented an Airbnb there, and we all crashed there, and just had every musician in town come through, and we ended up jamming and recorded 4 records. So it was absolute 5, actually 5. It was absolutely mind-blowingly inspiring. And then 2 weeks later, I went to the Monaco Grand Prix, and I played Cuba Cuba Freedom at the Monaco Grand Prix for the Prince and Princess of Monte Carlo. It was just wild.
Gosh, you've had the most amazing experiences. What about you create the track for On the Record?
Let's do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you guys hear that? He said, on the record, you would create my track?
On the Record, I said I'd create the track for On the Record.
You will? Because we don't have an open yet.
Really?
Like my open, yeah. You really will?
You need a track.
If you'll do it.
I think we can work this out.
Okay, you're really.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm in shock right now, so I can't even speak. The person who speaks all the time is speechless.
That's good.
And I want you to come back and do Off the Beaten Track at the beach.
Let's go.
You know, we need to do that.
That would be a really fun episode.
Yeah, on Beer Can Island. On Beer Can Island.
Let's go.
All right. I'm like, tapping you for all this stuff.
The incredible executive producer here was mentioning that. Let's see if we can put it together.
Yes, absolutely. Lowell Beckner, who's a general man. Lowell, we love Lowell. All right. So,
I wasn't sure if you called him Mr. Beckner or
yes,
Lowell.
Well, yes, I would like to call him Mr. Beckner. But
Mr. Beckner has requested the potential opportunity of a rager on Beer Can Island.
Yes, it will be so much fun. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to focus because I'm still so excited about like the on the record potential track.
We should do on the record, off the beaten track at Beer Can Island.
Oh my gosh, okay, that'd be great. All right, so before we close out, you've also been in movies.
Yeah.
Which are those really your own acrobatics though? Like, when you're like performing, is that really you or is that a stunt person?
No, it's me. Just ask my ankles every morning. You know what I wanted to do this week? I just read in the newspaper that because I read, if you live in Tampa and if you haven't read TB12 and you do anything athletic, you should. The GOAT.
Gosh, the GOAT, Tom Brady,
himself.
Of course.
Have you read his book, TB12?
I have not read his book yet.
You should read it.
Okay.
It's really good. It's a very easy read. I have such ADD. I have no concentration. But it's amazing, and he just talks about his discipline, his eating habits, and his aqua consumption. His water consumption. This man is serious about his water.
Well, we should drink some more water. You're almost out.
Trying to get my, there it is. Lowe's going to be angry with
Mr. Beckner.
Mr. Beckner.
Mr. Beckner.
Mr. Beckner, do you have a cleanup crew for the great Sarina? Anyway, so his book is amazing, and I've been reading it and trying to get my water game together and just get my life together. Because wouldn't we all want to be more like Brady?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
What would Tom do?
Yeah, exactly. What would Tom do?
Anyway, so he has a TB12 gym here now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We'll have to check that out for sure.
Oh my gosh, I'm dying to go. Like, I don't even know how hard it is, if you can even get in or whatever. But I'm going to check it out because I think I'm going to come back at Thanksgiving. And if so, I want to have them, work on me.
Yes, and plus, there could be, you mentioned it earlier in the show, but there could be some major breaking news with the Bucs and you.
There could be. Let's hope so.
Let's hope
Let's
so.
hope by the time this airs there is.
Yes, absolutely. And we, of course, will keep you posted on that. Ravi, for people who want to follow you, where should they go and how should they find you?
DJ Ravidrums everywhere. Just on Instagram. I'm mainly on Instagram. I'm a little bit lazy these days on Facebook and trying to get that TikTok thing back up and going. There's too many things you got to do. But most importantly, Spotify. Ravidrums on Spotify. Love is the answer. Everyone, do me a favor. Please, the song is free on Spotify. Just get it and put it on repeat and play it all weekend so I can trick the algorithm and I can get playlisted. Yes.
Absolutely.
I need all of your help, every one of you.
Absolutely. We'd love to do that for you. And thank you so much for coming on the record with me, Ravi.
Thank you.